Hey, what's up guys? My name is Joe Adams, owner of Relentless Pursuit. I just want to tell you a little backstory on who I am, where I come from, and what led to my brand. I had an amazing childhood, awesome parents, wonderful sister. Literally picture perfect and perfect in every way to me, and I'm very thankful for it. Focused mostly on sports, not really much school. I was terrible at it. After high school, I went on to college, went to a military school, Citadel, which is a great school, but it wasn't a right fit for me. I went for a little bit and totally separated myself. I knew that wasn't the right path at the time. From there, I joined another college. Started off great for about a week, and then I got really tied in with some drug problems, opiates mainly. That kind of took over my life for a solid year or so, and really just distorted everything. I totally crashed and burned. You know, a year later, I'd completely failed all my classes. I'd gained a bunch of weight. I looked like crap. I came from being like a solid athlete in high school to just basically a piece of shit in my own eyes. One day I looked at myself in the mirror and I was like, man, you need to change your shit. You're fucking up, you're bringing dishonor to your family, and you need to turn things around. So from there, I actually got in touch with my best friend at the time, and I was like, hey man, you know, I know we're kind of on the same path. I'm gonna go to a military recruiter. Got a bunch of advice, and when it all came down to it, I chose the Air Force. I ended up signing for a 6-year contract. You know, it might have been too long, but no, it was perfect. I'm really glad I did it. It was something I needed. I was an F-22 weapons mechanic. I loaded bombs and missiles on those things, and I loved it and hated it. You know, anybody in the military can relate. There's a lot of ups, but there's maybe some more downs. I'm really glad and really thankful for the opportunity of doing that. It really got me. I needed the structure, I needed the discipline, I needed to like take control of my own life, and I need something to help me get there. 4 years in, I was like, all right, I'm ready to roll. So I'd already kind of been coming up with a plan for my life afterward. What did I want to pursue next? I knew this wasn't what I had originally planned when I joined, this whole 20, 30 year retirement, you know, I'm gonna do Air Force all the way. Moved to Tennessee where my family had moved to and start school. And my plan was to go into nursing. Well, that totally took a flip. I can deal with some blood and stuff, but I can't really mess with people's other fluids and crevices and, you know, all those great things. I knew it wasn't the right path for me, so I diverted from that path. I decided to take the business route. Hated some of those classes. And then I, you know, kind of came back to reality, and I was like, man, focus on like what you're good at. Right when that happened, I had gone through like a pretty bad breakup, and my buddy hit me up a month later maybe. I was like, hey dude, you want to go to Asia for several months? And I was like, you know, I don't know, man. And about a week later, he called me back. He's like, what do you think? And I was like, hell yeah, I'm in. So we took off. Just a couple months after that, and flew to Southeast Asia. I spent between 3 and 4 months there, traveled around 7 different countries, totally got a brand new outlook on life, everything I wanted to experience, you know, just really just traveling with a backpack all over the place and enjoying every minute of it, just carefree, not stressed about a damn thing, and just living day by day. From then on, I knew how to get back and like really get my life in gear and start, you know, making some changes and set some goals, because I knew I wanted a future here and I wanted to have a family eventually. So I moved back, got involved with a gym, started managing there, started personal training clients. I absolutely love training people, making a difference in their life, helping them improve their health and whatever else they need to, because obviously that spills over to everything else in your life as well. In that time frame, I got into quite a bit of trouble. Started kind of spiraling down again, got involved with some negative stuff, and you know, definitely avoided some trouble, thankfully, when I definitely should have been in a lot of chaos. But anyways, my life for several months was pretty chaotic. I decided to make a change and kind of flip things around and be like, hey, you know, you're screwing up again. You've been down this path before. You really need to like grab a hold and take charge. Ended up meeting my fiance, Kate, fell in love with this woman, and that was definitely a motivator on getting my discipline and like being better for not only myself, but somebody else that deserved it, and just kind of taking things to the next level. So I focused on school, really buckled down with that, and I decided to go exercise science route. I wanted to be a physical therapist. I was like, that's the way to do it, you know. I get a doctorate degree, I get to help people on an even greater level. So I stayed very focused with that. I was interested in school because I was actually studying something I enjoyed. And at the end of 2018, I woke up and I was walking out to my bike. It was in the 40s. I knew I had to ride down the interstate for, you know, a good hour to get to school. And my fiance had just gotten to the beach and for a girls trip. And I sent her a message. I was like, God, this is a bad, should I ride today? You know, and I knew I was going to, you know, just, I needed someone to talk me into it because it was cold as hell. She was like, yeah, I mean, you always do ride. So I even posted a picture of my bike on social media with the temperature, and I said, this is a bad idea. And it kind of set the stage for like the rest of the events following that day. Rode to school, went to my classes, and I had some buddies coming in town that night to spend the weekend with me and just catch up. I had some time to just joyride around after class. So I took off on my bike. It was about noon on a Thursday, beautiful day. And I ended up going through like kind of a residential area by an elementary school in Murfreesboro, and cruising on my bike. I'm coming up on a light and it's green. I'm fully aware of that. And as I'm cruising along, I look to the left of me about 10, 20 feet away, and I see a car. And all I can remember was thinking, shit. No, I remember exactly, I said, fuck, as I looked at the car. And as soon as that happened, my mind went blank. Like my brain pretty much just shut off. This car and I collided corner to corner. And when we did, I fishtailed into the side of her car and then went into the windshield, and it launched me 90 feet through the air. Just to be clear, like, she ran the red light. It sucked. It's something you would never really expect when riding. You're always aware, but that's just one thing you just don't plan on. I launched 90 feet across the intersection into a field. I had woken up several minutes later, and I looked up and I saw my femur sticking out of my leg. And I remember like laying my head back down and being like, shit, this isn't good. And this officer was over the top of me and he's like, hey man, you're in a pretty bad wreck. Just stay still. And I was like, yeah, well, I'm sitting there thinking, no shit, it's pretty bad. And the wildest thing is I never felt any ounce of pain. My adrenaline was just pumping. So to me, you know, that was the gist of it. I had a broken leg, maybe some other broken bones, but that was it. I didn't think it was much more as life-threatening as it turned out to be. So I lay there for a while. I remember just chaos going on around me. And as this was all going on, I'm just kind of thinking like, what the hell is going on? He came up to me and he was like, hey, I remember him saying like, I called you a life flight. You're getting flown to Vanderbilt. And I was like, shit, man, it must've been pretty bad. I got to get life flighted. And when the life flight showed up, they loaded me on the stretcher. And I remember as they're tying me up to the stretcher, almost jokingly, I said, am I gonna die or something? And they said, we're gonna try to keep that from happening. And that's when things just totally took a turn for me mentally. You know, immediately I started thinking about like, you know, my family, my nieces, my parents, my sister, my fiance, all my best friends, everybody that just mattered the most. And I was like, God, you know, I may never see them again. This is it. And that's something that just really set in, and I was like, it's not my time to go. I got to stick around. This is happening for a reason. And as they loaded me on the helicopter, I remember just closing my eyes and just being at peace and being like, dude, you're gonna be stronger than this shit. You're gonna tough it out and push through. And I just was constantly thinking about the people I love. That's all that was in my mind. I didn't care to look around and catch the views. All I cared about was just staying alive. You know, next thing you know, several hours later, I wake up after emergency surgery, and I come to find out, you know, I see my surgeons, and of course they all come in and they're talking to me. They're like, you should be dead. What I learned was that, you know, I'll start from the head to my toes pretty much, but I had a minor TBI, brain bleeding, which fortunately I had a full face helmet on. I can only imagine if I didn't, because I used to not even wear a helmet. I had a couple broken ribs. What almost killed me was I had a aortic aneurysm. What was happening there was that was bleeding into my right lung, which was also collapsed, which I was very unaware of. I lacerated 6 of my organs, which included like my adrenal gland, my kidneys, I believe like my intestines, my liver, and a couple more. Moving down, I broke my hip in 3 places. My femur came out of my leg. I broke my right knee. I broke my left tibia, my right fibula. I crushed both ankles and broke both of my feet and crushed all my toes. And yeah, so needless to say, I suffered pretty greatly physically for sure. One more injury I forgot to add is about maybe a half an inch to an inch below, my area, there was something stabbed me in the leg, and I actually ended up losing a few pints of blood out of that hole. So that and change has caused, honestly, the only lasting damage I've had. You should be dead. You know this. This is your story. This was fated to happen, regardless of the situation. This was going to happen to you, and this is your time to turn it into the best thing that ever did happen to you, in a weird way. And from then on, that was just the mindset I kept. After dealing with all like the stresses of like post-surgery BS, I can distinctly remember being completely helpless. It's a pretty in-depth story, but I do remember, I had to crap in a pan, and I never forget the moment of like my dad holding me on my side because I couldn't even roll over, and Kate and my mother like wiping me. And I just remember being in tears, like just bawling my eyes out, like, holy crap, like, this hasn't happened since I was an infant. So that was really difficult for me to overcome and like come to terms with stuff like that. And also, in turn though, makes you become a lot more grateful for the ones that love you and the people that truly do care for you and show you that. And it's something you don't really, a lot of people sadly don't ever become aware of, is how much people do care about them and love them. So that to me was just while it crushed me, it was also monumental in my mindset on that, and being able to show gratitude to all those that support me and everything I do. That was a pretty huge thing, and it's just dealing with stuff like that, going from the hospital to rehab, learning how to shower and with trash bags covering my legs, and getting my first shower after several weeks, and remembering how refreshing that was, and oh my God, I'm taking a shower. It was the best feeling ever. Just feeling that warmth flow over my body. It was powerful, and you just start to really recognize and pick at the smallest things and realize how big they truly are, and you become extremely thankful about everything in life, and just being alive in general. Started going through PT. I went through probably close to 40 or 50 sessions. Very strenuous, very exhausting, painful. Being down at the lowest level also, in a weird way, brought me mentally, physically, spiritually on the highest level I've ever been. So I'm very thankful for the entire experience, and while I don't want anybody to ever have to go through that, I'm glad I did, because it re-geared everything in my life, and since then my life has been better than ever in every way. And once again, I'm so thankful for it. As I analyzed everything ahead of me, whether it was my physical goals as bouncing back, or how I want to approach school and my career and my family life, all that, I was being relentless towards it. I knew all those pursuits, I was completely relentless towards it. Nothing could hold me back from getting to where I wanted to be. Because if this couldn't hold me back, nothing can. From then on, I decided, hey, let's do our own thing. Let's switch up school once again, scratch the PT shit. Let's finish this degree, but let's start our own path. Let's become more of an entrepreneur, influence people with my story. And from that was birthed Relentless Pursuit. That is my brand, and that is my baby, and something that I'm very proud of. And it's enabled me the chance to use this story to make people better. And we'll continue that in a further episode. Be sure to go follow Relentless_Pursuit on Instagram, and also check out RelentlessPursuitLifestyle.com to get more involved. And we'll see you next time.